Sai Baba was at a gathering of his 75th birthday about 10, 12 years ago, and millions of people had shown up in this little village that has just a few thousand people, but they were camped out in the mountains all around the area. And a reporter came up to him and asked him a question, hoping to embarrass him. It was a reporter from the West. And the reporter said, "Are you God?" And he, without even hesitating, said, "Yes, I am. And so are you." He said, "The only difference between you and I is that I know it, and you doubt it." And I guess that's one of the big knowings that I would like you to be able to have, is that there is some place within you that is God. And as Jesus said, with God, all things are possible. And I always ask, what does that leave out? And that leaves nothing out. Here's what Saint Germain says about in the I Am Discourses. The moment doubt begins to enter, more doubt rushes in. The same with the I Am. If you put your attention upon it, it rushes forth more and more. Where the conscious attention is fixed, there the energy pours. Dear ones, says Saint Germain, do you not see, when you want something revealed or to be inspired in some way, do you not see, I am that? The moment you say I am, you set in motion this power that has inherent within it all these faculties. It has all substance and must take on whatever form the attention of the mind is fixed on. The I am, the name of God, is the fathomless mind of God. In reaching for understanding, the average student is but contracting the recurring memory of that which has been, instead of going into the heart of God and bringing forth that which never has been. Individuals and students many times do not and will not realize that there have been many civilizations of vast attainments which are entirely unknown to the outer world today. Atlantis and Lemuria, or the land of Mu, as credited by a few today, are but fragments of the great civilizations that have been. Like, we get this idea that it's all now in this world that we're in and it never existed before. To do unusual things, the students who wish to do this take the determined stand, I am the heart of God, and I now bring forth ideas and accomplishments which it has never been brought forth before. Consider only, I am that which I wish to bring forth. The I am presence is the heart of God. You are immediately in the great silence the moment you say I am. If you recognize that you are the I am, that whatever you declare is manifest in that moment. So, when I think about why it is that people aren't able to create the kind of miracles that this group is going to be able to create after we disperse, it's that we have to make our number one relationship, our number one priority, the number one thing in my life. I was talking about this yesterday over and over again with people, individual people, that my number one relationship in my life, at this point in my life, is my relationship to God, my relationship to my source. It's number one. It's above my relationship to my children. It's above my relationship to any of you, the people that I teach, to people, individuals in my life that I love. My number one relationship, and your number one relationship, needs to be this I am presence that is within you, that is within each and every one of us. And when you can do this, the reason people can't do it is because our identification is so strongly tied into what our senses have told us about our life. When I talk about banishing doubt here, I'm asking you to ignore what your senses have told you and what your body experiences have told you, and go to the place that is God. Go to the I am that I am. Go to the place that says the divine God's work in me is my I am presence. And instead of saying this has been the history of all of this, this is why it's so difficult for me to overcome these addictions, to go to a place where you have an understanding that I have the capacity to transmute any kind of addictive behavior that I've had, just like that, instantaneously. With God, all things are possible.
There is no situation so dark, no obstacle so great that God cannot make a way. What seems impossible to the human mind is but an opportunity for divine intervention. The walls that stand before you, the chains that bind you, the mountains that block your path, none of these can withstand the power of faith. When you believe, truly believe, the way will appear and what seemed immovable will dissolve before your eyes. The physical world reflects the inner world. If you see only obstacles, it is because your inner vision is clouded with doubt and fear. But when you awaken to the truth that God has already provided the way, even before you ask, your reality begins to shift. The Red Sea did not part when the Israelites stood in fear. It parted when they moved forward in faith. Their deliverance was waiting, but they had to take the first step. Yet though it is with you, the way is already made, but you must step into it. You are not trapped. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. The very moment you turn inward and surrender your struggle to God, a shift begins. It may not be visible to the natural eye, but deep within, the divine forces are rearranging circumstances, opening doors, and making the impossible possible. The prison you feel locked in is not real. It is the illusion of limitation. God does not see barriers, only possibilities. When you align with His vision, your world will transform. Do not wait for proof before you believe. Believe and the proof will follow. When you accept that God is working behind the scenes, preparing the perfect outcome, your fear loses its power. The walls of Jericho did not crumble because of human effort. They fell because faith demanded it. Speak to your mountain with unwavering certainty, and it will move. It is not your struggle that brings victory, but your absolute trust in the divine. God's way is not always revealed in advance. Often it unfolds step by step, each moment leading to the next in perfect order. Your task is not to figure out how it will happen, but to know that it already has. When you declare with full conviction that your path is clear, you will begin to see signs of its manifestation. The phone call, the opportunity, the unexpected help, it will come, and it will come at the perfect time. What once seemed like a dead end will become a passage. The sickness, the financial crisis, the heartbreak, these are not the end of your story. They are the moments before the breakthrough. When all seems lost, when every door appears shut, that is the exact moment God steps in. His ways are higher, His methods beyond comprehension, but His promise is unshakable. He will make a way where there is no way. It does not matter how long you have waited or how impossible it seems. The God who formed the stars, who commanded the light to shine from darkness, is the same God who is working in your life now. Open your heart, trust completely, and watch as the way is revealed before you. The breakthrough is already happening. The miracle is already on its way. Believe it, receive it, and walk forward in faith. There is a divine intelligence at work in your life, orchestrating every event, every circumstance, every so-called delay, to bring about a result far greater than you can imagine. When you stand at the edge of despair, thinking there is no way forward, that is the moment when the unseen hand of God is preparing your deliverance. The human mind sees limitations, but the spirit within you knows no boundaries. What appears to be an impossible situation is merely the unfolding of a divine plan you have yet to comprehend. You may be asking, How can I move forward when every door is closed? But the truth is, no door is ever truly shut to those who walk in faith. The obstacles you see are the illusions of the physical world, shaped by doubt, fear, and the belief in limitation. But the moment you shift your perception and recognize that God has already made a way, your reality begins to change. It does not matter how severe the situation appears. It does not matter if you have been told there is no hope. The world may say no, but God always says yes to those who align with His truth. The first step in seeing the way out of your impossible situation is to stop looking at the problem and start looking within. The answer is not in the struggle, not in the endless worrying, not in the desperate search for solutions. The answer is in the stillness, in the quiet confidence that God is already moving on your behalf. The moment you accept this, the burden lifts. You no longer carry the weight of uncertainty, for you understand that divine order is working in ways beyond human understanding. God does not require your effort. He requires your trust. The walls of Jericho did not fall because of human strength, but because of obedience to divine instructions. The sea did not part because of panic, but because of unwavering faith. Your situation, no matter how dire, is no different. The moment you stop wrestling with it and surrender it completely to God, things begin to shift. Solutions arise where there were none. A way forward appears in the midst of chaos. The prison doors swing open, not because you forced them, but because divine power has commanded it. Faith is not just believing that God exists. It is knowing that He is active in your life right now. It is the deep, unshakable conviction that even in the silence, even when nothing seems to be happening, the way is being prepared. The caterpillar may feel trapped in darkness, unaware that transformation is taking place, but in perfect timing, the cocoon breaks and it emerges as a butterfly. So it is with you. Your struggle is not permanent. What appears to be an ending is merely the preparation for a glorious new beginning. There is no situation too complex for God to resolve. There is no sickness He cannot heal, no loss He cannot restore, no door He cannot open. The key is not to ask how it will happen, but to trust that it already has. When you pray, do not plead as if you are separate from the answer. Instead, declare with confidence that your way is clear, that the impossible is being made possible, that you are walking in divine favor. Speak as though the problem is already solved, and watch as reality conforms to your faith. Your words carry power. Every thought, every declaration, every emotion shapes the world around you. When you declare that you are stuck, you reinforce that reality. When you affirm that nothing is working, you align yourself with struggle. But the moment you shift your words and declare that God is making a way, that miracles are unfolding, that doors are opening, everything begins to change. It is not magic. It is divine law. The moment you see beyond the illusion of limitation, the prison doors swing open. The chains fall off, and you step into the freedom that was yours all along. Do not let fear dictate your vision. Fear will always show you walls, closed doors, and reasons why you cannot move forward. But faith reveals the path beneath your feet, the light in the darkness, the invisible hand guiding you. The moment you choose to see through the eyes of faith, your entire world shifts. What once seemed like a dead end becomes a gateway to greater blessings. The pain you endured becomes the foundation of your strength. The delay you resented becomes the very thing that positioned you for something greater. The world will tell you that you need proof before you believe, but God tells you to believe before you see. This is the essence of faith. When the Israelites were told to march around Jericho, there was no visible sign that the walls would fall. When Jesus told the sick to rise, there was no physical evidence that healing had occurred until they obeyed. Your breakthrough is waiting for you to step into it, to act as if the way is already made. The moment you walk in the certainty of divine provision, miracles unfold before you. Your impossible situation is not meant to break you. It is meant to awaken you. It is meant to lift you beyond human reasoning and into the realm of divine understanding. Every great victory comes after a moment that seemed insurmountable. Every answered prayer comes after a season of waiting. But those who refuse to give in to doubt, those who stand firm in the conviction that God is making a way, will always see the impossible bow before them. Do not measure your future by what your physical eyes see. What you see is temporary, but the unseen is eternal. The delays, the struggles, the closed doors, they are not permanent. The moment you stop fighting against them and start trusting in divine order, they lose their hold on you. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are not at the mercy of external conditions. You are a child of the Most High, and He has declared that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. No obstacle can stand before the power of God working within you. The answer is already here. The way is already made. The miracle is already unfolding. Do not wait for the evidence to believe. Believe now, and the evidence will follow. Speak as if the victory is already won, and you will walk into it. Move forward with absolute confidence, knowing that the hand of God is clearing the path before you. What once seemed impossible is bowing to the power of faith. Your breakthrough is inevitable. Your way is opening. Walk boldly, for God is leading you into something greater than you have ever imagined. There is no obstacle that can withstand the power of faith. What seems like an impossible situation to you is already being worked out by divine hands. You may look around and see no way forward, but that does not mean the way is not there. It simply means you have not yet aligned yourself with the vision of God. When you stop relying on your own understanding and surrender to His higher wisdom, you will see what was hidden from you before. The walls before you are not real in the eyes of God. They are only as strong as your belief in them. The moment you believe in the way instead of the obstacle, the way will reveal itself to you. You may be surrounded by circumstances that tell you there is no way out. The bills are piling up. The diagnosis is grim. The opportunities seem scarce. Every direction you turn, you see resistance. But that is not the final word. The physical world is not the ultimate reality. It is merely a reflection of the state of your faith. If you accept what you see as permanent, you close yourself off to the miracle. But the moment you declare that God has already made a way, even before you see it, the foundation of your circumstances begins to shift. The unseen forces of the divine begin to move on your behalf, aligning events, opening doors, preparing a breakthrough that will come in ways you never expected. You must choose today whether you will believe in the problem or the promise. The problem shouts at you, demanding your attention, pulling you into fear and doubt. But the promise whispers in your heart, steady and unshaken, reminding you that God never fails. Every miracle begins with someone who refuses to accept the limitations of the world. Every breakthrough happens when someone decides that faith is stronger than fear. The Red Sea did not part for those who stood still in doubt. It parted for those who stepped forward despite their fear. You must do the same. You must walk as if the way is already made, and you will find that it is. Faith is not passive. It is not sitting back and waiting for a sign. Faith is action. It is speaking the victory before it happens. It is walking as though the walls have already fallen. It is rejoicing before the miracle arrives. When you align yourself with this truth, when you live as if the way is already open, you invite the impossible to bow before you. The world responds to what you believe, not to what you wish for. If you believe in lack, you will see lack. If you believe in struggle, you will see struggle. But if you believe that God has already provided, your reality will begin to mirror that truth. God's way is never the way of the world. The world tells you that you need resources before you move forward, that you need evidence before you believe. But God says, believe first, and the evidence will follow. The world tells you to fear the unknown, but God tells you that He has already gone ahead of you to prepare the path. The world tells you that you are trapped, but God tells you that you are already free. Which voice will you listen to? The moment you choose to trust in divine provision over human limitation, you step into a reality where miracles are not only possible, they are inevitable. There is no delay in divine timing. What appears to be a delay is often preparation. The seed does not break the ground the moment it is planted. It grows in silence in the unseen realm until the moment comes when it bursts forth into the light. So it is with your breakthrough. Just because you do not see movement does not mean nothing is happening. Trust that every prayer has been heard, every step of faith has been noted, and every obstacle is already being dismantled in ways you cannot yet see. Fear will always try to convince you that you are alone, that no one sees your struggle, that nothing will change. But that is the greatest lie of all. You are not alone. You have never been alone. Even in your darkest hour, the divine presence has been guiding you, whispering to you, making a way where there seemed to be none. The battle is not yours to fight. It is already won. The moment you stop fighting and start trusting, the battle dissolves. The moment you let go of worry and hold on to faith, the answers come. The moment you stop looking at the impossibility and start declaring that God is making a way, you step into the reality of the miracle. Do not wait for the situation to change before you believe. Believe now and the situation will change. Do not wait for the breakthrough to rejoice. Rejoice now and the breakthrough will manifest. Everything is unfolding according to divine order. Nothing is out of place. Every closed door, every delay, every difficulty is positioning you for something greater than you can imagine. Your part is not to figure out how it will happen. Your part is to stand in unwavering faith, knowing that it already has. The greatest transformations happen when you surrender completely to divine will. When you release the need to control, the need to understand, the need to see immediate results, you allow God to work freely in your life. There is nothing outside of His reach. There is no challenge too great, no burden too heavy, no path too lost for Him to restore. When you align yourself with divine truth, you become unstoppable. No force of darkness can stand against the light within you. No limitation can remain when you declare that God is your source. No fear can hold you when you walk in the assurance that all things are working together for your good. Your mind may tell you that your situation is too difficult, that your past mistakes have disqualified you, that you have waited too long, but none of that is true. There is no situation beyond redemption. There is no failure that cannot be turned into victory. There is no loss that cannot be restored. The moment you accept that God's power is greater than any challenge you face, your circumstances begin to align with that truth. The healing begins. The opportunities arise. The doors that were once locked begin to swing open effortlessly. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are standing at the threshold of a miracle, and all that is required of you is faith. Speak as if it is already done. Walk as if the way is already open. Rejoice as if the answer has already arrived. The power of God is moving in ways you cannot see, working through situations you thought were hopeless, bringing you closer to the breakthrough that has already been set in motion. Stand firm. Do not waver. Do not be moved by what your eyes see, but by what your heart knows to be true. The way is open. The answer is here. Your victory is certain. Keep moving forward, for the impossible has already been made possible. Your reality is not shaped by what is happening around you. It is shaped by what is happening within you. Every limitation you see in your life is only a reflection of the limitations you have accepted in your mind. The moment you change your belief, the moment you declare that God has already made a way, the barriers begin to fall. You are not bound by circumstances. You are not trapped by what appears to be an impossible situation. You are being prepared for something greater. What looks like a dead end is only the foundation for a divine breakthrough. The delay is not denial. It is alignment. The waiting is not punishment. It is preparation. You may feel that time is running out, that you have been waiting for too long, that nothing is changing. But the truth is, the moment you plant the seed of faith, the harvest begins to form in the unseen. You do not need to know how it will happen. You only need to know that it will. The same power that parted the Red Sea, the same power that made water flow from a rock, the same power that multiplied 5 loaves and 2 fish to feed thousands, is the power working in your life right now. It does not matter what the world says is possible. It only matters what God has already declared. Every time you declare that there is no way, you limit yourself from seeing the way that is already before you. Every time you speak defeat, you align yourself with the very obstacles that are trying to hold you back. But the moment you speak in faith, the moment you declare that God has already provided, the moment you walk as if the answer is already here, the impossible begins to move. Doors you never knew existed will open. People you have never met will be positioned to help you. Resources you never expected will find their way to you. The whole universe will shift to make room for the manifestation of what you have believed. God does not need logic to work a miracle. He does not need perfect conditions. He does not need human approval. He does not need the situation to make sense. When He says it is done, it is done. Your only task is to align yourself with that truth. You do not need to struggle. You do not need to fight against what is unfolding. All you need to do is surrender in faith, to trust in the unseen, to know with absolute certainty that the way is already made. The biggest enemy of your breakthrough is doubt. The moment you entertain doubt, you begin to undo the work that has already begun. The moment you let fear take root, you delay what has already been set in motion. But when you stand firm, when you refuse to be moved by what your eyes see, when you hold on to faith even in the midst of uncertainty, nothing can stop what God has ordained for you. Every great move of God begins with someone who dares to believe when everything around them says otherwise. You do not need to wait until everything is perfect to act as if your prayer has been answered. You do not need to wait until you see evidence before you celebrate. You must rejoice now. You must walk now. You must act as if it is already done now, because in the realm of divine, it is already finished. The moment you align yourself with that reality, the manifestation follows. There are no limits in God. There are no restrictions. There are no impossible situations. What seems like an end to you is only the beginning of something greater. What seems like a loss is only a setup for restoration beyond what you can imagine. Your part is not to worry about how it will happen. Your part is to believe, to trust, to stand firm, to hold on to the promise even when everything around you contradicts it. Do not let the voices of fear drown out the voice of truth. Do not let the opinions of others shake your faith. Do not let temporary struggles make you forget that your victory is eternal. Everything that you are facing right now is preparing you for something beyond what you can comprehend. Every challenge, every delay, every closed door is working together to bring you into alignment with the breakthrough that is already yours. Stop looking at what is missing and start thanking God for what is already done. Stop waiting for signs and start declaring that the way is already made. Stop doubting and start walking as if it is already yours. The power that created the universe is the power that is working in you now. There is nothing too great, nothing too difficult, nothing too far gone for God to restore, renew, and transform. Your situation is not permanent. Your struggle is not eternal. Your circumstances are not the final say. The final say belongs to the one who created all things, and He has declared you are victorious. He has declared that the way is open. He has declared that you are already free. Walk in that truth, live in that truth, Declare that truth and watch as the impossible bends before the power of your faith. It does not matter what the world says. It does not matter what statistics say. It does not matter what the odds are. When God speaks, everything shifts. When God moves, no force in the universe can stand against it. When God opens a door, no one can shut it. And He is opening doors for you right now in ways you cannot yet see, in places you never expected, through paths you never imagined. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not without a way. The way is already before you. Step into it with confidence. Believe in it with all your heart. Speak it into existence. Rejoice as if it is already done, because it is. You are not meant to live in limitation. You are not meant to be bound by circumstances. The same power that spoke the world into existence is the power that is breathing life into your situation right now. There is no need to struggle. There is no need to worry. There is only the need to trust that the way has already been made. The moment you shift your awareness from lack to abundance, from fear to faith, from impossibility to certainty, the reality around you will conform. The world is only a reflection of what you accept as true. If you accept struggle, you will experience struggle. If you accept delay, you will experience delay. But if you accept that God has already made a way, then no force in existence can block what is meant for you. Every time you wake up and say, "I don't see a way," you are reinforcing the illusion of limitation. Every time you declare, "Nothing is working out for me," you are aligning yourself with delay. But the moment you say, "God has already provided," the moment you say, "My way is already open," the moment you act as if your blessing is already here, the world must respond. You do not need to force it. You do not need to chase it. You only need to align yourself with it. There is no power in the universe greater than the power that resides within you. That power does not beg. That power does not struggle. That power simply speaks, and it is done. You may think you are waiting on God, but God is waiting on you to step out in faith, waiting on you to believe without doubting, waiting on you to walk as if the promise is already fulfilled. Too many people wait for conditions to change before they believe. They wait for signs before they act. But the divine does not work that way. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That means you must have the evidence in your heart before you see it in the physical world. You must rejoice before the miracle manifests. You must move before the door opens. You must prepare as if the answer has already arrived. If you truly knew that your breakthrough was guaranteed, how would you act? If you truly believed that your prayer had already been answered, how would you live? Would you worry? Would you stress? Would you doubt? No, you would move in confidence. You would wake up with peace. You would walk in joy. You would speak with certainty. That is the secret. That is the key. To live as if it is already done. Because in the unseen realm, it is. God does not operate by human logic. He does not need resources to be in place before He blesses you. He does not need conditions to be perfect before He moves. He does not need approval from anyone to bring your vision to life. When He declares it is already complete. But you must step into that completion with faith. The moment you begin to waver, the moment you begin to question, the moment you allow fear to creep in, you slow down the manifestation of what is already yours. But when you stand firm, when you refuse to accept anything less than the promise, when you declare without hesitation that the way is open, there is no force that can stop what has already been decreed. People may look at your situation and say it is impossible. They may tell you to be realistic, to accept what they see as the truth. But what they see is not the final reality. What they see is only a reflection of past thoughts and beliefs. Your future is shaped not by what has been, but by what you now choose to believe. The world has no power over you. Circumstances have no authority over your destiny. The only thing that matters is what you accept in your heart as true. when you know without a doubt that your way is open, then it must be so. Too many people give up too soon. They pray for a miracle, but when they do not see immediate results, they let doubt creep in. They allow their current reality to dictate their faith. But faith is not about seeing, it is about knowing. Faith does not say, I will believe when I see it. Faith says, I believe it, and because I believe it, I will see it. That is the divine law. That is the unshakable truth. Everything that exists was once unseen. Every breakthrough, every blessing, every miracle was once a thought, a belief, a certainty in someone's heart before it manifested in the physical world. You must stop looking at your situation through the eyes of limitation. You must stop measuring your future by what is happening now. You must stop allowing your faith to waver because of temporary conditions. The moment you say God has already made a way, and you refuse to accept anything else, the way begins to reveal itself. It may not come how you expect. It may not unfold the way you plan, but it will come. It must come. That is divine law. That is spiritual truth. God is not bound by time. He is not limited by human understanding. He is not restricted by natural laws. What seems impossible to man is nothing to God. What seems too far gone to the world is nothing in the hands of the Creator. There are no closed doors in God's kingdom. There are no barriers too strong for His power. There are no situations beyond His ability to change. The moment He speaks reality, the moment He moves, all opposition crumbles. The moment He declares it is finished, you are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not trapped. The way is already made. The answer is already here. The blessing is already released. You must align yourself with this truth. You must reject every thought that contradicts it. You must silence every voice that speaks against it. You must declare with absolute certainty that God has already done it. And as you walk in that faith, as you move with that assurance, as you live in that conviction, you will see the impossible bow before you. There is no situation too big for the power of God to transform. No obstacle is permanent unless you believe it is. What seems like an impossible wall before you is nothing but an illusion waiting to be dissolved by faith. The moment you stop agreeing with limitation, it loses its grip. The moment you decide that you will no longer accept struggle as your portion, the doors begin to open. You do not need to know how. You do not need to figure it out. That is not your job. Your job is to believe. Your job is to declare that the way is already made. Your job is to move in expectation, not hesitation. When you do this, the mountains move, the rivers part, and the barriers that once held you back crumble before you. Do not let circumstances dictate your faith. Do not let what you see with your physical eyes convince you that things are not changing. There is more happening in the unseen realm than you realize. Just because you cannot see it does not mean it is not unfolding. The seeds of your breakthrough have already been planted. The shift has already begun. You are not waiting for God to move. He has already moved. The only thing left is for you to align yourself with His truth and receive what has already been prepared for you. Doubt is the only thing that can delay what is already yours. Fear is the only thing that can keep you in the same place. The moment you release all hesitation, the moment you stand firm in your knowing, the unseen begins to take form. Everything in life follows the law of faith. If you believe you are stuck, you will stay stuck. If you believe things are getting worse, they will. But if you believe that your breakthrough is inevitable, if you declare that your blessing is already here, if you walk as if you are already free, then freedom must manifest. It does not matter how long you have been waiting. It does not matter how many times you have tried before. It does not matter what anyone else says. What matters is what you decide right now. Will you continue to allow fear to dictate your life? Will you continue to believe in impossibility? Or will you step into the power that has been given to you, the power to shape your reality, the power to command things to shift, the power to stand firm and know that what has been promised cannot be denied. Many people wait for a sign before they believe. They wait for doors to open before they take a step. But faith does not wait. Faith does not hesitate. Faith moves forward even when there is no visible path. That is the secret. That is how mountains move. You must act as if the way is already open. You must speak as if the answer is already here. You must walk as if the victory has already been won. Because the truth is it has. The moment you align with this, everything changes. Thought is not limited by time, and neither are you. What may seem like delay is only an illusion. What may seem like an obstacle is only a test of your faith. The moment you shift your perspective, the moment you see beyond the physical and into the unseen, you will realize that nothing has ever been withheld from you. The only thing that was missing was your alignment with it. The moment you stop asking how and simply trust that it is done, the way is revealed. You do not need permission to step into your blessing. You do not need approval from anyone to walk into what has already been promised to you. The only thing you need is the certainty that it is already yours. Speak, declare it. Stand in it. No more waiting. No more wondering. No more doubting. The way is open. The path is clear. Now walk in it with full confidence, knowing that nothing can stop what God has already set in motion. You are not here by accident. You are not in this moment by chance. Every challenge you have faced, every hardship you have endured, has brought you to this exact place, and in this place you have a choice. Will you continue to believe in struggle, in lack, in limitation, or will you open your heart to the truth that has been waiting for you all along? The truth that you were never meant to suffer, the truth that you were never meant to be stuck, the truth that the door was always open, but you had to believe it to see it. God is not withholding anything from you. There is no force working against you, no unseen enemy keeping you bound. The only chains that exist are the ones you have accepted. The only barriers in your way are the ones you have agreed to. The moment you reject them, they lose all power. The moment you decide that you will no longer live according to struggle, everything shifts. You do not need to earn your freedom. You do not need to prove your worthiness. You are already chosen. You are already approved. The moment you accept this, the moment you walk in it with unwavering faith, everything must align with the truth you have. You may look at your situation and think, but I have tried before, I have prayed before, I have believed before, and nothing changed. But that is not true. Everything changes the moment you decide it has changed. The moment you declare with complete certainty that your breakthrough is already here, it must manifest. Not tomorrow, not next week, but now. Because the only time that exists in the realm of faith is now. When you say, one day I will be free, you are pushing your freedom into the future. When you say, one day my situation will change, you are delaying the very blessing that is already available to you. But when you say, it is done, it is mine, the way is open now, the entire universe responds, everything rearranges itself to match the truth you have claimed. You are more powerful than you've been told. You are more capable than you have believed. The authority to change your life has been in your hands all along. You do not need external proof. You do not need anyone to validate your faith. You simply need to stand in it, speak as if it is already done, move as if the path is already clear, feel as if you have already received it, and watch as the impossible bends to your belief. God has always made a way. He has never failed. There has never been a situation too great, a challenge too overwhelming, a problem too complicated for Him to solve. But the way is only revealed to those who trust. The way is only visible to those who refuse to be swayed by fear. That is why faith is not just a concept, it is a law. The law that governs all things. The law that says what you believe you will receive, what you expect you will experience, what you claim you will see. The greatest trap is waiting for things to change before you believe they have changed. That is not faith. That is doubt disguised as patience. Faith does not wait for evidence. Faith does not wait for permission. Faith moves forward as if the way is already made, and in doing so, it creates the very reality it expects. This is how miracles happen. This is how breakthroughs unfold, not by waiting, not by hoping, but by knowing. The moment you stop seeking signs and start living in certainty, everything shifts. The moment you stop asking for proof and start walking in expectation, doors open. You do not need to beg for what is already yours. You do not need to plead for what has already been promised. You only need to rise up in full confidence, knowing that the impossible has already been made possible, and walk in that truth. Doubt will try to creep in. Fear will try to whisper lies. Your physical reality may still show signs of struggle, but none of that matters. What matters is your inner state. What matters is what you hold on to in your heart, because your reality is only a reflection of what you believe most deeply, and the moment you shift your belief, your reality must follow. There is no need to struggle. There is no need to force anything. The moment you surrender to the truth that is already done, peace washes over you. Worry disappears. Anxiety fades. Because you are no longer hoping, you are knowing. You are no longer waiting, you are receiving. You are no longer lost, you are found. Everything is aligning for your good. Every closed door was protection. Every delay was preparation. Every challenge was shaping you. And now the time has come. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. The way is open. The impossible is being undone. The only thing left is for you to step forward in absolute faith, knowing that you are already standing in your answered prayer. Stand firm in the knowing that God has already made a way for you. There is no need to wait, no need to question, no need to doubt. The moment you align with the truth that your breakthrough is here, it must manifest. Walk with confidence, speak with certainty, and move as if every obstacle has already been removed. The impossible is only impossible to the mind that refuses to believe, but to the one who stands in unwavering faith, all things are possible. Your blessing is not in the future, it is now. Your freedom is not on the way, it is here. Trust it, claim it, and walk boldly into the life that has already been prepared for you. Opportunity. He was offered a job cleaning offices. It was beneath him. It was not what he wanted. But he humbled himself and took it. A year later, while working, he met the CEO of a company who saw his diligence and integrity. That CEO offered him a new position, which led him back into the business world, but now at a higher level than before. The job he had dismissed as too small was the door to his restoration. This is the power of recognizing the open door, no matter how it appears. Sometimes the door does not look grand. Sometimes it is disguised as struggle, as discomfort, as a new challenge that stretches you. But if you embrace it, if you move forward in faith, you will find that it leads to exactly what you have been asking for. People often say they are waiting on God, but in reality, God is waiting on them. The door is open, but they are too distracted, too doubtful, too unprepared to walk through it. They wait for signs, for confirmations, for absolute certainty before they move. But faith does not require certainty. It requires trust. It requires action. It requires the boldness to step into the unknown, believing that what you seek is already waiting for you. You must train yourself to recognize the opportunity in everything. When you face a challenge, ask yourself, what door is hidden within this? When you meet someone new, ask, is this a connection leading me to my next step? When you feel uncomfortable in your current situation, ask, is this the moment I am meant to step forward? Because the answer is always there. The door is always there, but you must be willing to see it. Nothing happens by accident. Every delay, every rejection, every redirection, it is all leading you somewhere. The key is to stop resisting and start recognizing. Stop questioning and start stepping. Stop waiting and start moving. Because the moment you decide to see the door, the moment you choose to align yourself with it, nothing can keep you from what has already been prepared for you. You must not be passive. You must not wait for life to hand you everything neatly wrapped. You must take action. You must move in faith. You must recognize that the door is already open. The only thing left to do is walk through. Life is constantly unfolding before you, revealing paths that lead to your divine purpose. But the challenge is not whether the doors are opening. The challenge is whether you are spiritually, mentally, and emotionally ready to step through them. Too often, people hesitate when opportunity arises, not because the door is closed, but because their own fear, doubt, and lack of preparation keep them from recognizing it. They ask for signs, they wait for the perfect moment, and they search for certainty before they act. But the truth is, the moment you begin to trust that God is guiding you, the doors that seemed invisible suddenly become clear. Fear is the greatest barrier between you and the life that is waiting for you. When an opportunity appears, fear whispers, "What if I fail? What if I am not good enough? What if this is not the right time?" And so, instead of moving forward, people retreat into the safety of the familiar, clinging to what is known rather than embracing the possibility of something greater. But God does not operate in fear. He operates in faith. And faith requires action. You cannot sit still and expect transformation to happen. You must move forward, even when you cannot see the entire path. There was once a man who dreamed of becoming a speaker, inspiring people with his words. For years he read books, studied the great orators, and visualized himself on stage. Then one day, he was given the opportunity to speak at a small gathering. It was not a grand stage, it was not in front of thousands, but it was an open door. Yet instead of stepping into it, he hesitated. He doubted himself. He told himself he needed more preparation, more confidence, more proof that he was ready. So he declined the opportunity, telling himself he would take the next one. But the next one never came. Years later, he looked back and realized that the door had been there all along. He had just been too afraid to walk through it. God does not require you to be perfect before He blesses you. He only requires you to be willing. When Moses was called to lead, he doubted himself, saying he was not eloquent enough. When Gideon was called to be a mighty warrior, he questioned why God would choose someone so small. When Peter was called to walk on water, he hesitated the moment he let fear enter his heart. Every great transformation begins with doubt, but the ones who walk into their destiny are the ones who move despite the doubt. You must decide today that fear will no longer hold you captive. You must decide that no matter how uncertain you feel, no matter how unqualified you think you are, you will step forward in faith, because the moment you do, God will meet you where you are. He will give you the words when you need to speak, the strength when you need to act, the wisdom when you need to decide. But you must take the first step. There was once a woman who longed for a better life. She worked a job that drained her, lived in a place that made her unhappy, and felt stuck in a cycle she could not escape. She prayed for change, asking God to open a door. Then one day an unexpected opportunity arose, an invitation to move to a new city, to start fresh, to pursue a career she had always dreamed of. But instead of embracing it, she hesitated. She thought of all the things that could go wrong, all the challenges she might face, all the uncertainty ahead. She let fear make the decision for her, and in doing so, she let the door close. Years later, she looked back and realized that the answer to her prayer had been right in front of her. She had just been too afraid to take it. God's timing is divine. He does not place doors before you by accident. Every opportunity that arises, every nudge in your spirit, every discomfort that pushes you to change, it is all part of His plan. But you must recognize that His timing is not your timing. You may think you are not ready. You may think the conditions are not perfect. But God does not wait for perfect conditions. He calls you when it is time, and when He calls, you must answer. There are people who live their entire lives waiting for a better moment, waiting for a sign that is so clear, so undeniable that they will have no choice but to act. But life does not work that way. The greatest opportunities come disguised as small steps. The most powerful breakthroughs come in moments of uncertainty. If you wait for absolute clarity before you move, you will never move. You must trust that if the door is before you, it is meant for you. Imagine standing in front of a door that is already open, but refusing to walk through it because you are unsure of what is on the other side. Imagine standing before the very opportunity you prayed for, but hesitating because it does not look exactly as you expected. This is what so many people do. They ask for change, but when change presents itself, they resist it. They ask for blessings, but when blessings come in the form of challenge or discomfort, they turn away. But the ones who step forward, even in uncertainty, are the ones who see miracles unfold in their lives. A young man once dreamed of becoming a musician. He worked tirelessly on his craft, believing that one day God would open a door for him. Then one day, he was invited to perform at a small local event. It was not a big stage. It was not what he had envisioned, but it was an opportunity. He embraced it, gave it his all, and from that one event, he was noticed by someone who opened another door, then another. Years later, he looked back and realized that had he ignored that small opportunity, he would have never stepped into his destiny. Your breakthrough will not always come in the form of a grand event. It may come through an introduction, a conversation, a decision to say yes to something outside of your comfort zone. This is why you must stay spiritually alert. You must be willing to say yes, even when you do not feel ready, because when you walk through the door, you will find that God has already prepared everything you need. Doubt will try to keep you stuck. It will tell you that now is not the time, that you are not capable, that you need more proof. But doubt is not from God. God does not place dreams in your heart only to let them fade away. If He has given you the vision, He has already provided the way. You must trust in that. Even when you cannot see how everything will unfold, look at your life right now. What doors are before you? What opportunities have presented themselves, even in the smallest ways? What discomfort are you feeling that may be pushing you toward your next level? Do not ignore these signs. Do not wait for absolute certainty. Do not let fear convince you that staying where you are is safer than stepping into something new, because the truth is God has already answered your prayers. He has already made a way. The only thing left to do is walk through the door.